Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 222, and I am Lisa, your host, also known as Fiber Nymph on Ravelry and Instagram. Excuse me. Today is Wednesday, November 16th, so it has been a week and a day since I recorded last, and it has been quite a week, hasn't it? Yeah, I'm not really going to get into that. If you've been watching podcasts over the last week, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people just sort of at least allude to it or mention it a little bit. But I'm going to follow suit and just say what most of them have said. This is not the forum for discussing, politics and all those happy things, she says sarcastically. um, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge it, that it has been a week in that realm, especially here in the US. But I do want to say, honestly, regardless of where you fall on that spectrum of, views, you are welcome here. This is the knitting zone, which is like the demilitarized zone. Everyone is welcome here. Because, in the face of anything, honestly, we all need hope. And I always believe that there is hope no matter what the situation. Call me crazy optimistic or whatever, but there is hope, and hope begins with us. And so just, be kind and, care for others and help to be that hope. Help to make this world a better place, regardless of what is going on around us. That's all I always say. All I will say. But that is my goal. So anyway, hi. Let's see. If you're watching this, you already know where to find the podcast, right? But I will say it's on iTunes. At least I assume it's still on iTunes. I haven't heard, like, every once in a while iTunes hiccups, but nobody has said anything recently, so I'm assuming it's still good there. YouTube, I embed it in the Ravelry episode thread. We do have a Ravelry group for 90% knitting, which you can find under the groups tab. You have to search for 90-knitting though. If you just search 90% knitting, for some reason it doesn't come up. I don't think it likes the little percent symbol. What else? There's also a Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry, which is more specifically for my yarn business. And there's also a Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Facebook, which is actually a good clearinghouse place where I post information both about shop stuff and about 90% knitting episodes and things like that. So I would highly recommend you going and joining the Facebook group if you want a good location to learn about, events that I'm going to be at, anything. That's a good one-stop shop for that. Otherwise, either of those groups on Rav is a good place, or whatever works for you. And if you ever need to get a hold of me, I will say I do check my Rav messages. I'm not always great at replying to them because I can read them on my phone, but they're a pain to answer on my phone. Text or emailing me is usually the best way to get a hold of me. So fibernymph@gmail.com. Best way to get a hold of me if you need to get a hold of me and need a quick answer. So a quick and timely response. Okay, so let me welcome someone. Patsy from Nova Scotia introduced herself on the 90% knitting board in the welcome thread. So welcome, Patsy. Happy to have you here. I'm glad you've been enjoying the podcast. Drinking out of my sheep mug tonight. It's like 8:42 in the morning. Boy, I am confused. Anyway, so if you are a returning viewer like Patsy, welcome back. If you're new and just checking me out for the first time, thanks for doing that. There are so many podcasts out there, and I have been trying to watch new podcasts here and there as I can, and I can't get over how many there are every time I turn around. Like, YouTube is recommending podcasts I've never heard of, and they're already into like the double digits of episodes, so I know they've been around for a while. I have just been unaware of them. So anyway, let's talk knitting, shall we? I have a finished object for you this week. That's so exciting. I just dropped something on the floor over there, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay, my hand spun happy hat is finished. Yay! I did finish it shortly after I recorded last week. I love how it turned out. So this is my hand spun. This is Leading Men Fiber Arts BFL. Was the fiber, and it was in the That Somewhere colorway, which was their SSK colorway in 2014. So I basically did about 2 inches of 2x2 ribbing, and then I used the stitch pattern from the Blueberry Waffles sock for the body of the hat. Last time I told you about this, I can't remember if I had it here to show you or not, because I know I was kind of confused last week. Things get left at the mountains and don't come down here. You know, I've talked about this before. Anyway, I was about ready to start the decreases, and I don't think I was 100% sure how I was going to do them. So I started them, and I got through a lot of them, and I thought, oh my gosh, this looks horrible. So I ripped it back down to before the decreases, and I tried again. I'm not sure if I wrote in my project notes what I did, but I'm pretty sure I decreased in the purl ridges, and then I worked straight in pattern for a few rounds, and then I decreased in the knit columns, and then again I worked straight for a few rounds, and then I just did them all together to close it up. So there were basically 3 decrease rounds in the whole hat. And I love how it fits. I don't know what's happening with me that I'm suddenly into these like tight fitting beanies, because that has never been my thing. There, okay, I like it better without my bangs in my face. But I really like it. It's warm, it's happy, and we need happy knitting things are wonderful. So I can't wait to wear it. And apparently I'm going to get a chance to wear it this weekend, probably because it's supposed to snow, folks. I know some of you have already had snow, and that's because of where you live. We don't always get snow this early in the year, but apparently at the mountain house we do. This is going to be my first full-on winter living in the mountain house, because obviously last year Bill and I were just dating in the winter, so I was up there, but it was a fairly mild winter last year, so there wasn't a lot of snow, and we didn't get it until like the new year, like after the holidays. This year, though, this Saturday, they're calling for 3 to 5 inches of snow and freezing rain, and then snow, and then another 1 to 3 inches overnight. So, yeah, that could be fun. I just got new tires on my car yesterday. Oh my gosh. That's one of those adult things like, oh, I have to buy 4 new tires for my SUV. So, you know, that's a chunk of change, but it's one of those adult things that you have to do, and I always feel like an adult after I've done, like I've spent money on that, like that, or when I've paid my real estate taxes or something. It's like, oh, you're such a good grown-up. It's so goofy. You're 50, Lisa. Get a grip. But anyway, do you know how much yarn that money could have purchased? Oh my goodness. So anyway, I have new tires. I am ready to go in that snow on the mountain. And I have my hat, so all is well. Okay, so that was the hat. I worked on my antler cardigan. Okay, so last week I showed you the antler cardigan. I chopped it off so I could make it shorter, and I was going to start reknitting the ribbing. Well, I did start to reknit the ribbing, but I didn't get very far. And obviously I did not have it finished in time to wear it to my show last Saturday. I didn't even bother to bring it in to show you, because there's really not a whole lot to see right now. It's just me working on knitting some ribbing. So hopefully next week maybe that'll be done. I don't know. We'll see. But it's still progressing, and it's still good. It's just my sense of urgency for it sort of has waned a little bit. So it'll get done. Okay. What I have made a decent amount of progress on, though, is the Naruto sock, the second one. So you've seen this one a bunch of times. This is the first one. This is Gnome Acres yarn, the Naruto colorway. But I really messed my hair up putting that hat on. My hair wasn't doing so great today anyhow. Oh well, whatever. Okay, so Naruto sock. The first one has been done, and the second one is very close to needing its toe started. I had to kind of stop knitting on it the other day, though. This was the only thing I had with me up at the mountain house in the last few days, because I really want to get this done. And I also had it with me at my show, which I only knit a little bit at my show this time. It was fairly consistently busy, which was nice. And so then there was just the afternoon lull, and I finally pulled it out to work on it. But I didn't have the finished one with me because I had used up at the mountain house. I had it with me at the show because at the show I did a demo on afterthought heels, which was really fun and well received. I had like 15 people or something in my demo, which apparently was one of the most the demos that had the most people. So yay me. I don't know. But anyway, I had taken this sock just as an example of this is what a sock looks like before you put the afterthought heel in it. And so it never went back into the project bag. That was the problem. So I didn't want to keep knitting on this because I hadn't measured specifically, and I needed the other sock to hold it up. So obviously it has about another, I would say another 1.25 inches to go before I will start my toe decreases. So this should move along fairly quickly. I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's boring because it's just a plain vanilla sock. The colors keep it a little interesting, and the fact that I'm that close to being done with it will help. And then, of course, I showed you the black yarn that I got, the West Yorkshire Spinners, just solid black. So that's what I'm going to use for the heels. So I'm all set to finish these up, and that will be a second Christmas present finished because those are for my son. So hopefully those will finish up soon. I'm dying to cast on another pair of socks, but I want to finish those first before I do that, because I know if I distract myself with, ooh, sparkly, I won't want to finish those, and I need to stay focused. Okay, that was pretty much all I worked on this week, quite frankly. I did yesterday cast on a pair of boot toppers. Well, what I intended to be a pair of boot toppers. I had, like I said, I went and got tires on my car yesterday, and again, only knitting project I had up at the mountain house was that sock, and I didn't want to work on it anymore because I was afraid I would knit too far. So I do have yarn and needles, a stash up there, a small stash, and so originally I thought, well, maybe I'll do a hat. Well, I did not have the correct size 16-inch needle to do a hat, because apparently I've cast on hats up there before, finished them, and then the needles got put here. It's kind of a pain, but story of my life lately. Never knowing where things are, never having them in the right place. So instead, I thought, okay, I will do a pair of boot toppers, because I don't know if you remember last winter I knit the Anvard boot toppers. I don't have them with me. They're up at the mountain house. I'll try to remember to put a picture of them in here, or you can look at my project page. It was one of the SSK knit-alongs. Oh my gosh, the name of the designer is completely slipping my mind. She's fabulous. I took a class from her. Anyway, that was the pattern that I did for that knit-along for SSK. And I liked them. They were really pretty. They're cable-y and lacy, and the way I envisioned wearing them was folded over the tops of boots, which you could either wear them that way, or you could just wear them straight up, like under the, on your leg, but not folded over at the top level of your boot. Well, when I made them, I blocked the bejesus out of them because I wanted to open the cables up some and the lace, and they were way too big. Like, they wouldn't stay up on my leg. I blocked them to a size that there was just no way they were going to stay on my leg. And I don't really have a lot of boots that lend themselves to being able to turn those over, at least not boots that I wear on a regular basis. So I never really did anything with them other than I soaked them and then just let them air dry so that they would get their stretch back. So when I was getting ready to go to my show on Saturday, I usually like to wear something hand knit, and preferably something out of my yarn. However, we were going out after my show because we had a concert to go to, and so I kind of wanted to look decent. I didn't want to just wear jeans, even though jeans would have been completely appropriate for the concert. I ended up wearing a skirt and a top and one of my fleecy vests, which the fleecy vest does not lend itself to wearing a shawl. I tried. It just wasn't happening. And then I had a pair of sweater tights on, which, by the way, sweater tights, Oh my gosh. I love my sweater tights. They're so warm and comfy. So I was wearing a pair of gray sweater tights and I had black boots on. Well, these were, again, kind of scrunchier boots. Like they're not ones that are snug to your legs. So I couldn't wear the boot toppers folded over, but I thought, you know what? I could put those boot toppers on, like just on my leg, and it would kind of help with the stovepiping, like the cold weather going down the cold air going down your boot. They were perfect because the sweater tights provided enough friction to hold those boot toppers exactly where I wanted them, and they looked great. So all of a sudden I was like, all about the boot toppers. It's like, I need more boot toppers. So that was what I took with me to go to the tire place yesterday. I pulled a skein of Malabriga Rios off the shelf and wound it into a ball because I still do not have a ball winder up at the mountain house, but you know, it's Rios. It's not that huge of a skein. So this is the Purpurous colorway. I love Malabriga Rios. You've probably heard me say that before, and this is very true to color, actually. It's a lovely, deep purple and blue color. I did have a US 16 7 on hand, which would have been fine for the body of a hat, but it would not be good for the ribbing, and I didn't want the ribbing to be too loose. So I just cast on a 2x2. I cast on 60 stitches, and I was working 2x2 rib. And this is as far as I got in, I don't know, the hour or so that I was at the tire place. I was also intermittently like on my phone and stuff, so this wasn't a full hour's worth of work. I probably wasn't even there a whole hour. They got me in and out pretty quickly. But I thought, okay, well, I love the yarn. It's really pretty, but gosh, this is boring. And I didn't take the time to like download a pattern or anything. I thought, well, I could just do like little twisted cables every once in a while or something. I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm going to leave this in. I may just rip this out. This gave me something to knit while I was waiting yesterday, but I'm honestly not in love with it as far as leg warmers go, or not leg warmers, boot toppers go. What I actually think I would like to do with this yarn, though, and this is sort of an on-deck thing here, is cast on this hat. I went into my library in Ravelry. Oh, I don't have a good picture of it because the first page of the pattern was a full page picture and I wasn't going to print that out. Here's a little picture of it. It's called the Loden Slouchy Hat. So here's what it looks like. It's really cute. It's cables and lace, but it's not overly crazy. It looks pretty doable. And I have this in my library, so I've already got the pattern, and the pattern is by Julia somebody. I can't read the print on here. Why can I not find this? I thought I wrote it down here. Oh, I did. I wrote Loden Hat, but I didn't write the person. Julia Trice, maybe? I'm sorry. It's in really tiny print. My eyeballs are old, and it's a decorative print, so I'm having trouble reading. I think it's Julia Trice, though. Anyway, the Loden Slouchy Hat. It's very pretty. The bigger picture of it's really cool because it's got a big pom-pom on the back, too. I don't know if I'll do the pom-pom, but my daughter had mentioned that she would like another hat, and I've already knit her socks for Christmas, so I don't feel the need to knit her a hat, too, but I think she would really like this yarn. So we'll see. This may get ripped out and turned into this hat. But I do still want to do boot toppers for me. So again, I went into Ravelry, and I really don't have a lot of boot toppers in my personal library. So I just went on and searched for free patterns for free boot toppers. And I found this one. It's called the Heart Flower Cabled Boot Toppers by Donna Brooks. She actually has a lot of very nice patterns. A lot of lace, a lot of cables. If that's your thing, go check her out. So none of these pictures are super awesome of this, but I'll try to show you. So they're basically just what I have done here. As a matter of fact, I think they start with 60 stitches as well. So I could just continue these and make these boot toppers. So they're cabled and pretty cool. She has matching patterns for a cowl and mitts and stuff. The boot topper pattern is free. The cowl and mitt pattern, and I think maybe there's also a scarf, are paid for patterns. honestly, I don't think it would be too difficult to just take the free pattern for the boot warmers and make it larger and make a cow out of it, but whatever. Anyway, so it does show it turned down on the boot like that. I would not wear it that way probably because I don't seem to have luck doing that, but it would look perfectly fine just up and down, unfolded on my leg. So that is going to happen. I'm just unsure of the yarn. Like I said, I don't know if I want to keep these and continue these and do that pattern, or if this is going to become a hat. I need to look at my stash here. I know I didn't have any yarn up at, I don't know. The rest of my yarn stash up at the mountain house wasn't appealing to me for the hat other than this color, but I kind of like this color and would like it for me for the leg warmers. But if I use it for Emma for the hat, you know, I'm in a little bit of a quandary here over this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But those are the two patterns that they're on deck kind of right now. So we'll see what happens. The other thing that I guess is on deck, in my show notes I had listed that I cast it on, but I have not cast it on. I was going to cast it on this morning and then I ran out of time, so I didn't, is a shawl. Only because I feel the need to knit some different things. I'm kind of in a cast-on-itis thing, and I think it's a reaction to sort of like the mood of the week and just this restlessness. And so I'm using cast-on-itis therapy, which I think maybe a lot of us are, which is fine because if they don't work out, you can rip them out and they've at least provided you with the comfort of knitting for a little bit. But anyway, I went into my Ravelry library again because I have so many patterns in there that I either bought or I've been gifted and never knit. So I kind of want to use more of those. And there's this pattern. The designer is Janina Callio. And I don't know where I heard of her patterns, but she must have been having some sort of special or something because I purchased 3 of her patterns in a row. So I'm assuming she must have been having some sort of deal or something. I don't know. But this was one of them, and it's called the Interlude Shawl. And it's very, very pretty. It's a lot of garter stitch at the top and then just like sort of fishnet lace with garter stitch sections between it. And I thought that is really pretty. It's very simple. It's done with fingering weight yarn, but it's done on a US 6, so even the garter stitch is quite open and it's very, very drapey. And I thought, you know, this would be a really nice shawl for my mom because my mom's in Florida and she doesn't need real super heavy stuff. But I've knit her shawls before, so I pulled this skein off of my shelf, which is some Undead yarns, Heidi's yarn. This is what colorway is this? It's her Vampiri base in the Monster High colorway. The tag said it's self-striping. I couldn't see any examples, but my hunch, and Heidi, if I'm saying this wrong, please let me know, is that there's probably like a gray stripe, and then there is maybe all these multiple colors are like a speckled stripe. That's kind of what I'm envisioning this to be. But the colors are very soft and they kind of go together. So I'm thinking even if this is that kind of a self-striping, I think it'll work for a shawl because this is a nice long shawl, so it's going to spread out anyway. And I just think the colors are super cool. So I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. If it doesn't work out, then the yarn can become something else sometime. And the pattern, I will find other yarn for. We'll see. So we'll consider that an on-deck project too, since I didn't actually get to cast it on. But that's it as far as the knitting for the week. I looked at my spinning wheel again. Again, no spinning. I don't know why I keep saying that. I will, though. I want to. I really want to spin. Once I get through the next week of super busyness, I'll be okay. Then I can spin and it'll be good. What else? That's it. That's all the knitting I've got for you this week. Let's talk about the Work Your Whips Cal, though. we're kind of right in the middle of it because it's October, November, December, and we're in mid-November. So the cal is half over, but it is plenty of time left for you to join us if you want to finish off your whips. I know a lot of other podcasters are also doing, whip finishing themed knit-alongs right now. So feel free to double dip and triple dip and all that stuff if you want to. I did do a prize this week, a prize drawing from the Instagram tags. So I did that already, and from the Instagram, the tag is 90K Work Your Whips, by the way, if you want to tag your stuff on Instagram or on Ravelry, that's the tag to use. Techie mom of 6, who is Kathy. Her Instagram post was the one that came up, and she was modeling a hat that she had finished. So congratulations, Kathy. When you hear this, please get in touch with me. And you are winning a copy of the River Rapids hat pattern by Amanda Raitt, who is Skyly Knits on Ravelry. She graciously donated a copy of 2 hat patterns. The one I already gave away. I don't think the person has claimed it yet, and I need to try to get a hold of that person. It's always harder when it's on Instagram than Ravelry. But anyway, this was the second hat, the River Rapids hat. So Kathy, congratulations. Please PM me on Ravelry or email me, fibernymph@gmail.com, to claim your pattern, and I will connect you with Amanda, and she will get the pattern to you. I just wanted to mention, I was going through the threads today. Whenever you're posting in the finished object thread, please be sure to read the guidelines so you know what you need to post information-wise. If you're posting a cast-on-itis project, which was one you started in October and are finishing in November, you're allowed 1. Please make sure you have cast-on-itis in all capital letters at the top of your post, so I know that that's a cast-on-itis project for November. If you're planning on doing the weighing part, make sure you have the weight of your project in grams in your post as well. But my other thing I wanted to mention was you are totally welcome to post finished object pictures in the chatter thread as well. But please be sure to post it in the finished object thread if you want it to qualify for prize drawing, because I'm not going to be doing the prize drawings for finished objects from the chatter thread. That's just from the finished object thread. But you're welcome to post it in both threads if you want to. So just wanted to put that out there because I don't want you to miss out. Let's see. A while back I mentioned that for 2017 I had plans for what would be a year-long knit-along. Okay, and I still do have those plans. I haven't really given you any details about them because I only had a sense of the general overarching idea for the knit-along. So I've been trying to wait for it to coalesce and really come together for what I want it to be. And over the past week, that has been starting to happen. So I'm going to be putting together more details about that. And I will start letting you know more details about that in the coming weeks. So just keep that in mind. I will say that it will be designed in such a way that you'll be able to participate month by month if you choose to, rather than having to commit to the whole entire year. Although there will also be probably prize benefits for those who do choose to participate every single month, but you won't have to. There will also be monthly options as well. So, you can choose to participate some months and not other months, or you can do it every month, whatever floats your boat. But stay tuned for more information on that. New things this week. Mostly my new things that I can show you are from Indie Knit and Spin, which is the show that I vended at last weekend. Love that show. It was a wonderful day. We had lots of people out, so thank you if you came by the booth. It was great seeing you guys. But let me show you what I got, because I got several things. I had mentioned to you last week that I was planning on buying soap, which I did do, from Dusty Tree Soap. She did not have any of the soap dishes this time, which I was sort of bummed, but that's okay. Can't have everything all the time. So her soaps are handcrafted nearby. She lives nearby, and they're Pure, palm-free, and gentle. So this is what they look like. And they all have these really cool tops to them. They're not just blocks. They smell really good, although they are like unscented as far as having artificial fragrances put in them. But this one smells awesome. This smells very, I don't know. It has patchouli in it, but it doesn't smell like patchouli to me. This one's called Drunken Hippie. So it's got beer in it. So I bought one Drunken Hippie Latte Bubbles, which has some coffee and cinnamon in it. I don't know why I wish it was smell-o-vision, because then you could smell it. This one is Lemon Honey Oatmeal. The colors are so much fun, and the textures, and you can definitely smell lemon in that one. And then I bought two that are called Holiday Cheer. And they have some sweet orange, clove, and peppermint in them. And I can definitely smell the peppermint. So, and they've got like this little green and kind of light reddish bits in it. So, anyway, those are for gifts. People in my life who I give little gifts to will be getting those. Alrighty. For me, because I did buy things for me, I bought 3 things for me, actually. The first is a set. Well, it's not really a set, but it's 3 mini skeins from Space Cadet. I know some of you are big fans of Space Cadet yarns. She's also a Pittsburgh dyer. I have never had any Space Cadet yarn, which is crazy because I've been vending this show with her for years. I don't know how I've never ended up with any of her yarn, but she has the most ingenious thing in her booth. I mean, she's got all of her full skeins of yarn, but then she's got these bins at the bottom full of mini skeins, just random mini skeins, and it's called the Mini Bar. I mean, let's talk about marketing genius. So you can pick whatever minis you want, put them in a bag. And I'm sorry, the light is really blowing things out here today. I'm sorry. And then she charges by the gram. And I think it was like 34 cents per gram or something. So I got these 3 because, believe it or not, those grams add up really quickly. I think initially I had 6 or 7. I'm like, oh, this shouldn't, you know, I can't do the mental math and weighing things. It almost ended up being $60. And when the girl told me that, I'm like, I have to put some of these back. Not that I'm sure they're not worth that, but I'm basically buying these to put in my scrap yarn blankets. And since they're supposed to be scrap yarn and not newly bought yarn anyway, I thought that's a little bit excessive for that particular project. I mean, if I was doing something specific like a big project, I would have had no problem, but no. So I just narrowed it down to these 3. So I've got 2 sparkly ones and 1 non-sparkly one in some of her yarns. And her colorways apparently do not have names. They just have numbers. So I can't really say much about that. But they're fun. And they will go in my crochet granny square blanket at some point. So then down at the other corner of the room that I was vending in was Destination Yarn. And I love her yarn. She has the most fabulous colorways. I bought a kit last year to do a cowl. So it was the pattern and the yarn, which was a variegated and speckled yarn plus a more semi-solid yarn in the Fall Run colorway, which is very autumnal and lovely. So then I wanted to buy more yarn this year, and I ended up buying this, what color is this? This is Fall Run. It's the same color I already own, except the one that I own is in a fingering weight that's set aside for that particular pattern. And I didn't realize until I was buying this, I'm like, this is the same colorway that I have from your kit, isn't it? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, huh. But this is a DK weight. So I figure I will knit myself a hat that will coordinate with the cowl. I just love the color that much. I mean, it's beautiful. One of the other colors that she had actually 2 other colors there that I really, really liked, but she only had them in an MCN base, and I wasn't going to buy fingering in MCN because I don't prefer that base for socks. That's just me personally because I wear through my socks too much. So I got this, and I'm very happy with it. It's pretty, and I love it. And that's on her souvenir weight base, or souvenir base, which is a DK weight, 100% superwash merino base. Then the last thing I got, and I have to say, I may be the most excited about this. This is from Steel City Stitcher, who does project bags. So here is her card. Steel City Stitcher. I'm not not sure if this was her first time at the show or not. I kind of think it was because I don't remember seeing her before. But she included these great little stitch markers in there and a pin. But she had bag sets that were exceedingly lovely and very well made and very affordable for what they were, I thought. But look. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The Grinch. Like, this bag makes my heart so happy, I can't even tell you. So it's not only this medium-sized project bag in this Grinch fabric, which has this green snowflakey fabric on the inside, which I love. But it comes, and it has the zipper pull, and it has a little handle, and a little carabiner. But look, it's got this little tiny box bag for notions. I've never seen something so cute in all my life. Well, that's probably a bit hyperbolic. But anyway, it's just adorable. And she had these. You could buy these separately too. But I just thought, that is so cute. And this was only $30. She could way be charging more than that. These are very well-made bags and just adorable. And I bought this and I went back to my booth and I showed it to Bill. I'm like, look what I got. And he's like, that's awesome. I'm like, oh, the only bummer about it is it's like a Christmas bag, so I can really only use it around this time of year. He's like, I'd use it all year round. I'm like, okay. So you may see this in July or something. But anyway, I love this bag set. It is so adorable. I'm just thrilled with it. So those were my purchases. Those are my new things. I have been on a pattern buying binge in the last week. I think maybe that's been another comfort thing. I want the patterns. I want to support indie designers. I want, so I'm not going to show them all to you just because that's silly. I will show them to you as I make them, which I hopefully will. I've been printing them out as I buy them. I'm more likely to make them if I do that than if I just buy them and then they're sitting in my Ravelry library where I don't see them. So yeah, patterns. I also subscribe to Taproot magazine. I've heard about this magazine for so long now, and I can't remember who it was that was just talking about it on a podcast recently. But I decided, you know what? That looks like a wonderful, lovely, warm, comforting magazine. I need that. So I subscribed to that, and I ordered their 2017 calendar, which is totally up my alley as far as the artwork and the aesthetic of that. So I'll show you that when that comes. The other new thing that is super exciting, and I can't show it to you, but I can tell you about it, is there's going to be a new yarn shop opening in Pittsburgh really soon called Knitsburg. I can't wait. They're opening in the Blawnox area of Pittsburgh, if you're familiar. So I can't wait to check that out once that opens, because we lost a really nice yarn store this fall. So it's good that I knew when it's coming. Okay, that's about it for all the knitting and 90% stuff. 10%, I finished listening to As You Wish, Inconceivable Tales from the Making of the Princess Bride by Carrie Elwes. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Like I said, his reading is very dramatic, even for that kind of a book, but it was fun. And I really enjoyed it. And I kind of now want to watch the movie again, like I haven't watched it a million times, but he talked about different things that were going on during the filming, like where he was hurt at this point, his toe was hurt, or this was happening, or that. And now it's kind of like I want to go in and watch the movie knowing what was actually happening at those points. So that'll be on the horizon. I'm currently listening to, I decided to try some fiction, and I went into my wish list on Audible and was looking, and I've had the book The Paris Wife by Paula McLean on my wish list in Audible for quite a while, and I'm not sure why it's taken me this long to download it. It's a basically historical fiction, sort of a biography, historical fiction of Hadley Richardson, who was Ernest Hemingway's first wife. And it's written, it takes place in the 1920s era, whenever they met and married. I'm not super far into it, and I don't know a lot of Ernest Hemingway biography, although I have listened to A Movable Feast, which was... that was a long time ago when I listened to that, so there's been enough of a span that I don't remember a lot. but that was actual biography, or autobiography, I guess, or whatever. That was not fiction. This is fictionalized, but from what I understand, it draws pretty heavily on fact, just about their lives in that time. And, you know, it's very interesting. I'm enjoying it so far, and the woman who reads it is doing a wonderful job. I love her voice. But yeah, I've read a few reviews on like Goodreads, and people either seem to really like this book or really not like this book. And the things that they're picking apart are issues that, like, I don't know that they would particularly bother me. So I'm just going to continue listening to it and see how I like it. But so far, so good. So that's called The Paris Wife. But that's it. Not really anything else. Just getting ready for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving here in the United States is next Thursday. My mom and my daughter are both going to be home. And they both fly in on Friday within an hour of each other, so that makes it so easy to go to the airport and pick them up. Excuse me. Yeah, so they're coming in. I'm a little bit stressed out because I've got one major project work-wise that I have to finish prior to Thanksgiving, and I'm on schedule for it. It's fine. I'm not worried about not getting it done, but I need to have it done by Monday, and I'd really kind of, in my mind, mentally wanted to have it done before they got here, and that's not going to happen. So I'm still going to have to put some time into working over the weekend once they're here, but it'll be okay. And then the other stressful aspect of having them home is just the fact that they both need to borrow my car, and I need to be able to use my car. So we're juggling cars again after me just getting my car back after, you know, it was in the shop for a few weeks and all that. And so that's a little stressful. Plus, just trying to coordinate where everybody's going to be at different days. I've actually created a chart. I have a chart with all the days that my mom and Emma are going to be home, and then everybody's name. Where are you each going to be? Who's sleeping where? Like, are you going to be here for dinner? What night? What nights do I have to cook dinner? You know, because otherwise I'm just going to be totally stressed out about it. Anyway, all right. But I will probably record next week before Thanksgiving, so you'll probably hear from me one more time before then. All right, I do have some shop news. I'm going to pause here for a moment, though, and gather some things, and then I'll be right back. If you're not sticking around for the shop news, that's fine. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. But if you are, hang on, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is the shop news segment of the podcast. First of all, some housekeeping for the shop. The Smooth Sailing Sunny Skies skeins have all shipped. So if you purchased one of those by pre-order for the Hurricane Matthew fundraising efforts I was doing, thank you so very much for doing that. And you should have your yarn. You should have your yarn by now. Or very soon if you're international. So anyway, those are all shipped. The Pie of the Every Other Month club signups, which were last week, those went really quickly. Thank you so much to everyone who did that. And I know there was a little bit of confusion for a couple of people just because of how I ended up having to do it with the questionnaire after saying, oh, I thought I was just going to put the listings in the shop and then not being able to make that work. So thank you for your patience in trying to get that taken care of. I initially had 20 spots available. I believe there was maybe only, I think I ended up with 6 people on the waiting list. All in all, I'm pretty sure I ended up with 24 people in the club. I was just able to accommodate everybody who wanted to join, who had sent in a thing, and then who followed up as far as confirming their membership. So I'm pretty sure there's 24 people in the Pie of the Every Other Month Club. So thank you for that, for your enthusiasm. And you can be looking for your first club shipment in the last week of December. However, the first shipment of the Killarney Collection Club will be going out in the last week of this month, in November. So those will be getting shipped out after Thanksgiving. I can guarantee you that. I'm considering the last week of each month to be like the last 7 days, so it may not be an actual like Sunday to Saturday kind of month, but if you look to the last 7 days of each month, that will be when things will ship. So that one's coming up. Yeah, let's see what else. Okay, the show last weekend, Indie Knit and Spin, was a great day. Loved it. Thank you again to everybody who stopped by the booth. It's always really fun for me as a vendor to see people get excited if they find something that they've really been wanting and I have it at the show. Like anytime I have Nyan Cat, which I always try to bring at least a couple Nyan Cat sets, and I did only have 2 this time. But, you know, and because they're sets, I can't actually hang them on my grid wall. I usually just sit them on the table near the self-striping, and then people find them and they're like, it's so much fun. So anyway, yeah, and you know, my holiday colorways went over really well at the show, as well as, you know, the self-striping is always a good seller and different things that I had. This show was very different for me. I brought a much different combination of things than I often do, but things went really well, so I was pleased with that. You're never quite sure how things are going to go when you switch stuff up a little bit. But anyway, I do have show leftovers that I'm going to be putting in the shop this Saturday. First of all, there are some things that I took out of my shop stock to take to the show. Anything like that that I'm putting back in the shop, I'm just going to put it back in the shop. It's not going to wait for the update on Saturday. If it had been in the shop, I'm just going to return it to stock and it's going to be there. But the things that were actually leftovers, first of all, anything seasonal, like autumnal, seasonal, that'll go in the shop this week. Any of my holiday colorways that were left from the show, those are going to go in the shop this Saturday. And then anything that was an orphan, meaning I only have one left of it, those are going to go in the shop. Everything else, as I've said before, I'm going to reserve for my show stock because I've got shows coming up at the beginning of next year, and I don't want to be starting from zero. So anyway, but there's a fair amount. And I'm going to just show you sort of quickly what I do have to go in the shop this week. Let's see. That is if I can find things. I know I have 2 skeins of the Autumn Speckles on Bedazzled. So those will go up. And again, even though there's 2, they're autumnal, so I'm going to put them both up. As far as, I think that might be the only fall-ish colorway I have. I'm sorry, I'm looking behind me because I have everything sitting here on my ironing board. Let's see if I can get it a little bit closer so I don't have to keep reaching out of camera. All right. As far as holiday colorways, I have 2 of the sock blanks left, the Welcome to Whoville sock blanks, and they are on the regular happenstance sock blank, not the sparkly one, so there will be 2 of those going up. And then as far as my new holiday colorways, I believe this is my only skein of holidays that is left, and that is on Bounce. People were really looking for that, so that was fun. Then I do have a couple of skeins of Welcome to Whoville in skein form. This one is on Bounce. I know I have it on a couple of other bases. I didn't bring all of the bases in. I just brought representative skeins to show you. So check the shop and you'll see what there's going to be. But I know I've got this on a few different bases. There is some Winter Frolic on a few different bases. So this one's on Bounce. So there'll be some of those. And then I've also got some variations on a Christmas theme. This one is on Heavenly, and I think I had that on one other base too. Then holiday colorways that I have not had in the shop yet this year, but I did have for the show, and I'm putting in. There will be some of my Winter's Wizards, which this was my holiday colorway last year. And it is inspired by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra's song Wizards of Winter and the light show that goes along with it if you see them live. So this is Winter's Wizards, and this is on the Traveler base. I know I have it on another skein too that I think is on a different base. Then I've got the Elves Were in the Eggnog. This was one of my very first holiday colorways that I ever dyed. Back when I started. It's a 5-stripe colorway, and it it's fun because rather than being red and green and white, it's different pinks and greens and white. And it's always been a fun colorway. People always love this, and so I keep dyeing it every year. So there will be a few skeins of the elves who are in the eggnog. So if you've been waiting for this and have never been able to get it, then there you go. And I'm trying to get it to focus. It just wants to focus on the background. So there it is. It is a really fun colorway. And lastly, I think this might be the only skein of it. I can't remember. It's on Bounce, but it's my You're So Scrooged colorway, which this was new, I think, a couple years ago. So it's got your Christmassy reds and greens, but then you've got some black in there because you are naughty. So you are Scrooged. Yeah. All right. So those are all of the holiday colors. I do have some more of the holiday colored mini sets, both on Bedazzled and Bounce. So those will go into the shop. What else? Let's see. I need to move things around here. Sorry. I think there's some kits. I didn't bring those in. Some of those will just be going back into the shop. Some might be new, especially the Takushta Cow kits, which is my Takushta pattern, plus a DK weight color block gradient. So any of those that are new, those will go up in preview mode. I do have a few other gradients. This is Molten, and that's on Bedazzled. And then I've got Secret Garden on Heavenly. And I've got Doubletree on Sunshine. And I'm calling this Imagine. I had variegated skeins called Wild Imagination, and this is sort of a variation on that colorway, so I'm calling it just Imagine. It's a 4-part gradient on Sunshine also. I think those are, oh no, wait. One more. What's this? Oh, this is a worsted weight gradient. This is in the Deep Waters colorway, so 5 colors. I've never done worsted weight colorways or worsted weight gradients before. It's grays and blues and greens. These were actually fairly popular, so this is the only one I have left that's a single, so it's going to go in the shop. I do have another sock blank. I don't think I did any of these for the shop whenever I dyed them for the show. And this is the only one of them that I have left. It's this great blue and purples, which is actually the same colors that are in the Wild Imagination colorway and the same speckles. So I could have actually called it the Wild Imagination sock blank, but I did not. I called it the Electric Purple, Vivid Violet, and Peacock with speckles color. I don't know why I didn't just put Wild Imagination, but I have one of these, and that's on the Happenstance with Sparkle sock blank. So then, aside from that, I've got some self-striping, and these are all singles. There's one 7 Deadly Sins. There is one Mystery and Magic, and this is on Traveler. 7 Deadly Sins is on Bounce. Mystery and Magic is on Traveler, which is my sport weight base. I've got one skein of So Berry Limey on Bounce. I've got one skein of Sunburn Zebra on Bounce. I've got one skein of Fruit Loops on Bounce. One of Electric Avenue. I don't know why I keep saying one, because I already said there's just one of all of these. Electric Avenue on Bounce. This is Love Bite on Traveler. And this is Love Bug on Traveler. This is Secret Garden on Traveler. This is Key West on Bounce. And this is Amy on Bedazzled. So I think that's it. If I find any, actually there might be a couple braids of fiber. And I think the rest of it is kits. But a lot of those are probably kits that I had taken out of the shop anyway, so they're just going to go back in. So anyway, that's it. That's what's going to be in the shop update on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully that'll be international friendly. So if you're international and you were looking for some of these, hopefully that'll help you out. I'm not going to say that this is the last time I'll have any holiday colorways in the shop. I may put them in there one more time. I just don't know when that will be. I still have not decided when the next shop update's going to be after this one this Saturday. As much as I would love to be able to do a shop update on Small Business Saturday, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, it's just not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. I may do something special in the shop that day, but it's not going to be a full-on update. But I can let you know about that next week when I podcast. Other than that, that's everything. I've got it covered. So I'm going to go. Have a great day. I will be posting all of this stuff in the shop hopefully today in preview mode, and I will really try to get show notes up this week. I'm so sorry that I haven't gotten them up the past couple of weeks. It's just been those kind of weeks. But anyway, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you have a good rest of your day and rest of your week. And remember, everything's going to be okay. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And just have a good day. Love you guys. Bye.